Lawmakers revealed hypocrisy. Now that the state may be on the hook for as much as $3 billion in settlements, they drafted legislation reinstating a statute of limitations with even more restrictions, providing only a 90-day window to file a claim. But we have since learned that bill will be changed.
I still had that trust issue with being molested at a juvenile facility where the people were supposed to protect me, but they didn't protect me.
Child sex abuse survivor John Doe doesn't want to be identified. He's suing the state of Maryland. He says he was molested by a state employee back in 1982, shortly after arriving at what is now called the Hickey School, a juvenile detention facility.
He would come behind me, touch me, pull my pants down. He told me to keep my mouth shut, don't tell nobody our business, and I would go home every week. John escaped from Hickey, but he turned to heroin rather than therapy to deal with the trauma. And as time went on, I started sniffing dope more and more, just trying to hide my problems.
According to documents from the Department of Legislative Services, John Doe's lawsuit is among an estimated 3,500 against the state by child sex abuse survivors. The document indicates the state's liability is capped at $890,000. Doing the math, this adds up to $3.11 billion. Some are claims against public schools. Most involve juvenile detention centers. Passage of a 2023 law that eliminated the statute of limitations on filing a claim opened the door. A report on church abuse released by the state attorney general is credited with pushing that bill across the finish line. But things have changed now that the state faces paying billions in liability claims. Ironically, the lawmaker who spent a decade trying to eliminate the statute of limitations is now sponsoring legislation to reinstate it as a way to address the development. Delegate C.T. Wilson says the State House leadership and the Moore administration advised him the bill was a, quote, vehicle to address those claims. Delegate Wilson says he agreed, reading the title but did not read through the bill to realize it included a new, even stricter statute of limitations.
It would have been very hypocritical, which is why it was just a vehicle to get something in. I'd rather walk away with nothing than go ahead and reinstitute a timeline.
House Bill 1378 provides 90 days to file a claim. Delegate Wilson says that time limit will be taken out and replaced by an amendment to create a survivors fund.
We're trying to amend it to create something like a pool of money that's going to be in and possibly create some regulations for limiting legal fees.
But so far, no revenue source has been identified. State lawmakers are already grappling with a projected $3 billion deficit.
I don't think we'll have a specific revenue stream for this, and look, it will probably impact general funds, but it is part of a settlement negotiation, and so we don't know the full scope of what those costs may end up being.
11 News Investigates looked back and found lawmakers ignored warnings back in 2023 when the bill eliminating the statute of limitations was under consideration.
Because of your language in the bill that seems to indicate it's a single occurrence, so multiple incidents could be $850,000.
Attorney Jonathan Secor is involved in 4 separate venues of child sex abuse claims. He says he's hopeful state lawmakers do not reinstate a time limit to file a lawsuit. He believes the current law is a deterrent.
Punishing people financially is the way to incentivize them to stop these practices, and that's our goal.
There's no money or settlement can solve that problem. What happened to me as a kid, and that's probably the rest of my life I got to live with that.
John Doe says he's now clean and sober, but still struggling to move forward. Meanwhile, changes to the bill are expected to happen during a hearing scheduled for February 27th. For 11 News Investigates, I'm David Collins.
11 News Investigates has reached out to Governor Moore's office and Democratic leadership in the General Assembly for a response, and we are waiting to hear back.